I'm going to answer the most common questions that come up for those interested in getting a free house in Japan. I've been doing this for a couple of years now. My son and I do IKEA tours and help people with the process of moving to Japan for any amount of time. I'd like my daughters to get involved as well in the future when they're old enough. I like to answer all the most common questions I get from doing consultations over the years and helping people. Let's start at the very beginning. Flying to Japan. The cheapest option is there's a couple of Chinese airlines that are by far the cheapest if you know what to do. You're not going to find them on Skyscanner and all these other places. I can help you find them. You have to choose the cheapest dates and the cheapest options on everything. And you can get it for about £300 from London to Tokyo. I mean, 300 and something, 350, 360. I've seen them some for about 330, but it's in the 300s usually if you go for all the cheapest dates and the cheapest times. And it does mean a long wait in Shanghai. And the flight from London to Shanghai is packed, every seat full. And then from Shanghai to Tokyo, half the plane's empty. You can lie down, you've got the whole row to yourself. There's restrictions on Japan and not letting many Chinese people into Japan. And this is why the flights is very, very cheap at the moment. I don't know how long that will last for, but I can help you get a return flight. You could do a 1-year return if you wanted to. You could do like a 90-day visa very, very cheaply. So this brings us to the visa situation. If you're going for 90 days or less, dead easy, it's almost automatic. You can get a tourist visa, no problem at all. If you want longer than 90 days, I can help you get something called a J-Find visa. Now, when you look at the requirements of that, you're going to think, oh, that doesn't apply to me, I can't get it. You can get it. I can help you. The requirements are, you need to show you've got a couple of £1,000 in your account. Same for dollars or euros. And you need to have several other questions you got to answer. What you're going to do in your time. If you want 2 years in Japan, what are you going to do? And you could put anything. I'm going to start a business. I want to see the culture. I'm retired. I don't need an income. Or I'm a digital nomad. All these options. You have to write that down. Nice, satisfactory answer. I'll help you to put the right thing down so you don't get refused. The hardest part is Japan want to cut down on bad people coming to Japan. And they only want good people coming to live in Japan. And their idea for this was university graduates. They're all good people, which is not really true. But this is what they've decided. And one of the biggest requirement, the biggest hurdle to get a J-Find visa, you need to have qualified from one of the top 100 universities in the world, a degree, within the last 5 years. Now, that doesn't apply to most people. I know that. There's an option, however, to buy a degree. It costs about £60 from the degree mill. Now, this is not a legitimate degree. I have no illusions, but it is a thing. I'm not endorsing it. I'm not condoning it, but you can buy a degree. You can choose anything you like, and you can get the basic degree from one of these top Russell Group universities, or just one of the top 100 unis in the world. You choose one, choose a degree, pay for it, and you get your certificate. You can now answer correctly that you have got a degree from this university. It is not legitimate. You cannot say I'm qualified in this field. But for this purposes, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not saying anything at all about that. But I know people who have done this and they've used it to apply for a J-Find visa and they have successfully been accepted. That's all I'm going to say about it. I can help you do that if you want to. If you decide it's your choice, do you want to do that? You will then have a 2-year visa in Japan. You're allowed to work. You don't have to. And I'm going to talk about this now. I don't think it's worth working in Japan earning yen, because the yen has fallen so much. 20 years ago, when I first started living and working in Japan, the yen was very strong. I was an English teacher earning about 4,500 yen per hour, English teaching. And then I did freelance work and I could earn a lot more than that. I started off working for different companies in Japan. And then I worked for myself. I got my own clients. And I thought, why am I giving the company like so much funds when I'm doing all this work teaching English? And I loved it. And I used to just meet in train stations, meet in Starbucks, and I'd get paid good money just to talk to people, which was amazing. I loved it. It's not worth doing that anymore because the yen has fallen so much. And the yen is continuing to fall. You're much better off earning in other currencies. You could do the same job, English teaching or tutoring, anything, or consulting, or some kind of digital nomad work. You could do that from Japan, but it's not worth earning funds in yen. You want to earn funds in other currencies because the yen is continuing to fall. So you could be retired. You could be doing a grey gap year or two. It's a 2-year visa you can get, I'll help you get, and you can easily extend that. If you got the first 2 years successful, that's the hardest part. I can help you so you will get it. And then you can extend it quite easily. 2 years, 2 years. You have to extend it every 2 years. You need some kind of an income. You might have a pension. You might have some kind of business with income coming in. Or you can be a digital nomad. You don't need much. You can live like a king on very little because the yen has fallen so much and it will continue to fall. That's why so many people are interested in Japan now compared to these other Asian countries that are Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, all these other countries in Indonesia, and then you've got Vietnam, Cambodia, Philippines, Vietnam, and all the countries all around there are not as good as Japan from the point of view of currency. The pound or the dollar or the euro will buy more. It goes further in Japan than these other countries I've mentioned. For example, getting a meal, getting food, clothes, entertainment, alcohol is cheap. You get more of it for your pound in Japan now than these other countries because the yen is falling so much. Accommodation is free in Japan if you know what you're doing. The Japanese population is falling by 1 million people every year. It has been for a while, and I think that will continue. It'll pick up. It might be 1.1, 1.2 million people every year soon. That means there's more people dying or moving out of Japan than people being born or moving into Japan. What this means is there's a lot of empty homes, empty houses, just becoming empty. And what I think is really ridiculous is there's a culture in Japan, newly married couple or someone, they build new homes. They like a new home. Often the parents pay for it. We'll build you a new home. It's like a new thing, new start in life, a new home. I think that's absolutely ridiculous because there's an abundance of empty homes. Why add to supply when supply is already far more than demand? But that is the culture. They're building new homes. So I'd say it's roughly 1 million homes become abandoned every year. This is ridiculous. Why build any more new homes when there's all these homes becoming abandoned? But that is the case. There's tens of millions of empty homes just sitting there empty, abandoned. I think official figures, it's less than 10 million. It's like 9.5 million. But that's just what's official. I know there's loads of houses that are not officially on the IKEA list. IKEA is the Japanese word for abandoned house. I'm going to be using that from now on in this question and answer. Common questions answered about moving to Japan, claiming an IKEA. Why are there so many IKEA? It's because of the prohibitively expensive land tax laws and rules. And by the way, Japan is such a stickler for rules and laws. Everything works well, everything's done properly. People always pay, there's no shortcuts, there's no getting away from things. There's very low crime, very low anything. Nobody does any dodgy stuff, really. I mean, it's very low. Obviously, there are some. But the Japanese people are conformists. They stick to things. And if somebody's father dies, their mother dies, whoever's the last one to die, or someone's auntie, uncle, the next of kin has the option to inherit all their things. They inherit all their assets, and they can choose whether to inherit the house or not. Often they go round there after the funeral's done. They go round and they look through all this. Is there anything valuable in the house? Any family heirlooms, pictures, anything they want to keep, or something they remember the deceased person by. They keep all that, and then they leave the house. They go out and shut the door, never to return. They choose not to inherit that property. Why? Because they have to pay inheritance tax, which is different from other countries. It's quite high. They also have to then be responsible for land tax. It's like council tax in the UK. And often the elderly person, when they were ill in their later years, they didn't keep up with payments. They got behind with the payments of land tax and other responsibilities like that. Now, the next of kin who has the choice of inheriting it will have to back pay all that land tax, have to pay inheritance tax, and will be then responsible from then on to pay land tax. They do not want to do this. The house prices in Japan are very low because there's tens of millions of empty homes. You know, it's not really worth it. I'll pay all that so that I can sell the house. No, they're not going to be able to sell it. House prices are very, very low. So they choose not to inherit it. The house then becomes a Kia, abandoned home. Tens of millions of them to choose from. How we can tell if it's IKEA is by doing a land registry search. There's a small charge for this. It's not free. I know how to do it. It's all in Japanese. You have to speak Japanese. So say you find a house you like. You're doing a tour with us and we can show you 100 houses if you want. Or just, you might only need to see a few before you find one that you really like. Okay, I like this place. I'm showing you all these abandoned homes. Now, I'll do the last few checks. Most of them, I'm pretty sure, are abandoned. But some are just empty and not abandoned. So that's not IKEA. I take the address, which is usually on the front. Use a little sign, but I can photograph that. Take the address. I do a land registry search. It's like a couple hundred yen. It's very cheap, but it's not free. But you do the land registry search, and you will come back with a Japanese person's name. It could be Sato, Yamata or something like that. So you've got this name. Right. Now I have to go on the database, a Japanese database, and find out that person at that address. And I can find out if he's alive or dead, or she. And I can find out when they deceased. Or, you might find out they're not dead yet, but they're 98 years old, living in an old people's home. Well, that is not IKEA, if they're still alive. But if I found out they died 2023 on this date, so they are deceased. And if they're only just deceased, like this year, it's not, you have to wait a while. It can take several months before someone decides if they want to inherit it or not. If they haven't done the work, they need a solicitor, Japanese lawyer. The next of kin, if they don't do anything, it becomes IKEA. If they want to inherit it, they have to get this lawyer to go through the process and inherit it. Now, if that hasn't happened within, I'd say more than several months, but a year, if the person has deceased a year or more ago, and their name is still on land registry, nobody else is on land registry, and you can see the last owners on land registry, you can see the history of it. So they are the only owners. That means no one has decided to go through the process of inheriting it. They've decided not to. That means the place is abandoned. You can now be a squatter in that home. There's no paperwork, there's no registration, there's nothing you have to do. You can do it. Once you've done all these checks and you are certain it is IKEA, I'll help you with the checks. Don't just go and do that in any old home you find. You might find it is not IKEA and someone might turn up, what are you doing in my house? But if you've done these checks, I can help you to be sure it is abandoned. What is involved now? You have to get access to it somehow. I say, whatever you do, don't do any damage. No damage to the home. I can get in. I've got pretty good at it now. My son, his hobby is lockpicking. He's from a young boy. He's been lockpicking. We can get in. We've got techniques. We can get in through either the front or back door or one of the windows. We will get in without doing any damage. And you're inside now. Look around and you decide, yes, I do like this place. This is a place I've decided I want. Often many times, we have found keys inside. When you think about it, the last person who died, they left all this stuff there. Their next of kin came, they might have had a spare key, they've got in. Or maybe the emergency services, they got in to, take the body out there. And there's often a set of keys inside, nearly always. If you look hard enough, you'll find a set of keys inside. If not, change the locks. We can do that. It's all part of the service you're paying for. We will change the locks. But often that's not needed. If you found at least one key for the front and the back door each, you can go and get new keys cut. It's only a couple $100. Get several new keys cut if you like. You have now started squatting in this property. You can go and live there the first night. And on the second night or the first week, what I think the first job's to do, and we can help you with this if you like, you clean the property thoroughly from top to bottom. I say start at the top, start sweeping. And by the way, always, 100% of the time, we have found all the cleaning materials you need. When you think about it, an elderly person's been living there for decades probably. They've got all that stuff there. Nobody's taking that stuff. It's all there. You brush, mop and bucket, everything's there. We sweep, clean, nice wet rags and good disinfectant, mop from top to bottom. Usually nice wooden floors, tatami floors, beautiful place. And it's a very pleasant job. I like it. Me and my wife, we love doing this. We clean it thoroughly, top to bottom. You end up with a big pile of rubbish outside. Now you go through the rubbish. Anything valuable you want to keep? No, all this is definitely to be disposed of. Anything that will burn, you keep aside. Most of these homes have a stove of some kind, of wood stove. Anything that is burnable, you put in the wood store. There's often a log store. We found, my word, a couple of years worth of seasoned wood all dried out, ready. Someone's chopped it all up neat and tidy. But we'll add to that anything that burn, any furniture you don't want. If it's broken chairs and things, anything you don't want, put them all in there. It's part of your wood stove for the winter. Anything that will not burn, you could dispose of by hiring a truck to come and get it, or you go and take it to the local skip refuse. Or another option is, I'd say bury it. If there's, all these houses have got a nice garden at the back, a day's work to dig a big hole and bury it. The reason for this is there might be something, I wish there was something I was looking for in that house. Or it's too late, throwing it away. Oh, it might be buried there. That's an option. And it's easy. You bury all the rubbish. So now you've got a nice empty home. I say, don't get rid of good furniture and good things. If it's the last person who lived there got the home nice as they wanted it, if there's good furniture that fits well there, leave it there. Just clean it really well. I do a thorough deep clean. Pull everything out and clean behind, underneath. Pull all the cushions off the sofa. Just clean everywhere. Thorough clean. And you'll end up with a nice minimalist bare house. Just the things that you wanted to keep there. Only those. Now, you might want a few more things. You might need a few more kitchen appliances. You might need a few more bits of furniture. The amazing thing is that because there's tens of millions of abandoned homes, not just homes, but other properties, schools, businesses, hospitals, warehouses, any kind of yards full of equipment, the population of Japan is falling by at least 1 million people every year. Soon it'll be 1.1 million, 1.2 million. The population is falling. You often get, over the last few decades, a nice family-run business or a nice big business, and the older ones die off. The next manager takes over. He gets old, dies off, lays off people, he's down to a skeleton crew, and they all retire and leave. It's just him and one or two people. And they say, look, how long can we keep this going for? Yeah, I'm not sure. And then they retire and the business just gets abandoned. And that whole place, they try and sell it. Maybe somebody buys it, maybe they don't. The place just becomes abandoned. The last few people get too old, go into old people's homes. It's all abandoned. With schools, there's often 6 or 7 schools in a whole area. The population is falling. It gets reduced to 4 schools. The population is falling. All those 4, they all get together and they all condense into one school in the middle somewhere. And all these other schools are all abandoned. So many business blocks of like flats that used to be thriving are all abandoned. And I've been through these. That if they are abandoned, I want to say it again because I get a lot of criticism for this, but it is a fact that if someone has abandoned something, they have relinquished ownership of it. You need to understand that if it has been abandoned, it is not wrong to take it. If I abandon something, I put something out or I just abandon something, if somebody takes it, that's none of my concern. I have abandoned it. It is not mine anymore. If I wanted to keep it, I wouldn't abandon it. So listen, it is not wrong to go scavenging. My wife has been doing this recently, found some amazing things. We've done it in the past. Just go looking for cool stuff. Now, don't be a hoarder. Don't end up with all full up of boxes of all. No, please don't be a hoarder. Only take it if you're going to use it. Only take what you need. Seriously, try and keep minimalist. But as you look around these buildings, scavenging is good fun. Not many people are doing it. I don't know why, but Japanese people don't seem to do this. You will find valuable things. And you could make a nice living, actually, scavenging and having a little storage place there and selling it. There's a place you can sell it. There's a big website called Sayonara Sale where you can, if somebody's moving away from Japan, they're just selling everything off, quite cheap. And you could just put your stuff on there. But anyway, just find what you need. If you want new furniture, if you need a new fridge, freezer, if you need a new microwave, if you need a new rice cooker, if you need a new washing, drying machine, if you need anything like this, there are an abundance of perfectly good ones. Check that it's working. You can bring it to your home. So what would you do if you got your fridge, freezer, your rice cooker, your washing machine? What do you do about electricity? You're squatting in this abandoned home. You're squatting there. What I would say you do is do not turn electricity on. But you can if you want. There'll be a charge to start it all off, and then you have to pay a monthly fee. And that's fine. If you want to do that, that's fine. But a lot of my clients I'm helping are not going to be living there all the time. They just want a second holiday home. They don't want to pay the standing charge. And you have to pay a standing charge. Once you've turned electricity on, there's a standing charge whether you're there or not, whether you use any electricity or not. This is why I say another option is do not turn it on, live off-grid. You can spend the same funds as you would perhaps a year or two on electricity, having been connected to the grid, on fold-out solar panels. You want a couple of kilowatt of good fold-out solar panels, and they're getting better all the time. Latest generation TopCon solar panels are excellent. And Japan has got really good sun, winter and summer, all year round. You then have a lead. You put them up on the roof temporary. It's not like a proper fixing them in place. You put them temporary. There's a temporary way to fix them in place so the wind doesn't blow them off. Have one lead coming down. You'll have to drill a hole somewhere. Have one lead coming down into your first battery bank. And the battery bank's technology has got so much better. You can buy very, very good batteries. It's got everything in it. The inverter, everything's there. And there's all different battery banks on the market. The new ones have an incredible capacity on them. The biggest ones are on wheels. You can get some little ones that you can just put in a bag. And you have several of these. I'd say 5 or 6 of them. I know it's a bit of an outlay to start with. That's your biggest expense, really, doing this plan. But you have one in the kitchen that will run your fridge all the time and any kitchen appliances. One in the washroom to run your washer dryer machine. That uses a lot if you dry. I say don't dry clothes in the machine. Put them out on the line to dry. But for the washing machine, you need a battery bank in there. It takes electricity. One in the living room for the TV, all your music, things like that. And have a few of these around that bedroom. And what you do, the solar panels might not be enough to charge these up all the time. But we do a run into town. There's internet cafe, there's places, even Starbucks, things like that. You go in and or when you go in for lunch somewhere, you plug it in. You have it in your bag. You don't take it out of the bag. You just have a lead coming out of your bag. You put your bag by your feet. You sit at a table with a plug socket. You plug it in. You don't have to ask anybody. Nobody mind if you did it anyway. There's plugs all around the walls for like vacuum cleaners and things for the cleaners to use. There's plugs everywhere. You don't have to find a specific place that, any plug will do. Plug it in for 1-2 hours. That goes from 20% up to 80% or more, I think. And you charge up 2 or 3 at a time. Have a nice lunch, take your time, have a drink, and then you go home with a full battery bank. And you might do it again the next day with your next few battery banks that are running out. So that's what I suggest. You live off grid. Now, water is often free, not everywhere in Japan. So you might have to pay water rates. It's not too much. That's not bad at all. I think you can get water. If you don't use it, you don't pay for it. It's no standing charge. But you just pay for what you use for. Or a lot of places it is free. The infrastructure's all been put in place by very hard-working people. They've got spring water from the mountain just piped to the home. If you're really lucky, you might, a few places live in an onsen place. The volcano heats the water. You've got hot onsen water coming up, piped to the home. You've got a hot tap all the time. Hot water on tap, and you can have an onsen in the home. But those houses are very sought after. But you will be able to get good mountain water, spring water from it. Either you pay for it or you might have it for free. It might be on. You just find, look, it works. You find this IKEA home, you turn the tap on, and it works. And you don't tell anybody, you don't rock the boat, tell the water company. You've got water on, and the drainage is all in place. It's working. So it's water and electricity. You'll find that most houses, well, all actually, pretty much 99.9% have got gas bottles out the back. So all the infrastructure is put in place around the whole house. This will heat water and heat the home, and you do your cooking. Now, this is very cheap to refill. You've got 2 options. A couple of times a year, a big truck comes around with a loudspeaker saying in Japanese, gas bottle refill. It's usually at the start of the winter, in the autumn. And you can, yes, please. And they will refill the gas bottles quick and easy and simple. A cheaper option, far cheaper, is to take the gas bottles yourself to go and refill them. A little bit of hassle because they're big, heavy things, but it's much cheaper. That's what we do. Save a bit of money. Go and refill them yourself. There's a gauge on there. You can tell when they need refilling. And there's loads of gas bottles you can scavenge. When I go scavenging, there's so many. They're like so abundant. People have abandoned these things. Find some good quality ones. And yeah, have a couple of spares. I always have several spares at my IKEA. And have them refilled. So that is living off grid. You've got gas for heating, cooking, heating water, showering, bathing. Beautiful baths in Japan. You've got electricity from the solar panels and the battery banks, and you often go into town to charge your batteries. It's a nice, pleasant thing to do. Do a supply run, shopping, and you've got your water for free. Live off grid. You are living off grid you're squatting in an abandoned home. When you say squatting, you think these scruffy people with long hair and nose rings and piercings all taking drugs and alcohol. No. We're good people squatting. We're good, clean people squatting. And I still get a lot of criticism. You can't do that. Dave Silver is so wrong. He's recommending wrong things. I'm going to explain it this way. Most of the tens of millions of abandoned homes in Japan were perfectly fine to live in when the old person died or went into an old people's home. And over the years, if no one maintains that home, we all know what will happen. It will become derelict and nature will take over. Very soon, it will be too far gone. It will cost a lot of work to repair. I think you're doing a good thing for Japan to rescue that home by working hard for Japan to clean it and maintain it. Now, I don't recommend you go for any of these homes that they got holes in the roof, whatever. They need structural. There's a lot of work to be done to bring it back up to the par. You don't need to, because there's so many that are ready to move into. They're beautiful homes. They don't need any work on, and they're full of everything you need. Imagine it's like going into an Airbnb. The kitchen's got everything there, all knives and forks, hashi, chopsticks, pots, pans, everything you need. Chuck away the ones that you don't want. And if there's any new ones you want, go scavenging. You'll find everything you need. You're doing a good thing for Japan by rescuing these homes from going to waste. They would have abandoned home in no time. I've seen so many I've looked at. It looks good from the outside. They're going, oh, it's just too far gone. It's such a shame, but it's been empty for so long that you got grass, mold, you got things growing there. It's too far gone. It would require a lot of work. You don't need to go for them. I will only show you how. If you come on IKEA tours with us, I will show you homes that are ready to move into. They just need cleaning, no structural work. So that's a lot. That covers a lot of the questions I guessed. Now let's go on to some of the practical points about living in Japan. I can help you get your cheap flight, your cheap visa. Well, yeah, very cheap. It's a small charge for it, but you can get a 2-year visa. And by the way, I'll help you all through the whole process. I won't stop helping you. There'll be loads of little questions come up the whole process. I will help you. Got your 2-year visa. When the time comes to renewing a J-Find visa is easier than getting it to start with. Once you've got it to start with, it's very easy to renew it every 2 years. So I'll help you all the way through everything like that. Now let's talk about practical things like your phone, mobile phone. You can get a very cheap virtual SIM card. So I think they said it's £1 a month, £1.50 a month, something like that in British currency. It's very cheap in Japan. It's incredibly cheap. And that you can get like 20 gigabytes and pay a bit more and have unlimited data. But that is your internet. And it's very good signal over Japan. It's actually very good coverage. So you'll be able to get internet and stay in touch. You don't need to pay for broadband at your home. Just go for the virtual SIM. I think 20 gigabytes is enough for me because I'm always going into somewhere where there is Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi all over the place. Every convenience store, every supermarket, every Starbucks, McDonald's, all these places, KFC, and all the really nice Japanese places, they have free Wi-Fi. Then you can download like movies and things if you like to watch later on the TV back home. That virtual SIM is all you need for that. Talk about transport for a minute. You might decide to drive a car. You might not. You don't have to. A good e-bike or just use public transport. Buses are very good, very cheap. Trains are excellent. Really good. Best in the world, I think. But if you decide to drive a car, you need an international driving license. It costs £9. In the UK now, I go to the post office. You use your British license. Can I have an international driving license for Japan, please? You need a passport picture. Bring it to the post office. It cost £9 last time I did it. And they give you this grey card. It's a grey folding card. International driving license that covers Japan. You are then able to drive in Japan. I think it has to be renewed every couple of years. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But you can get this Japanese international driving license. Covers you for Japan. Now you could hire a car if you want, or you could buy a car and legally drive in Japan. I've actually got a Japanese, because I've been there for so long, I've got a Japanese license, but you probably don't need to do that. You can get the international one. I've got a Japanese photo card license, just like the British one. But get an international grey card. Now you could go to a car dealer and buy a car, or I'll teach you, there's loads of websites. This one's Sayonara sale when people are moving away from Japan. They often sell their car really cheap. And there's other places you can buy very cheap. You saw that truck there on the right. You just went past it now. But the yellow number plate is called a K car. And it is incredibly low cost to buy and run. The requirements to qualify for the yellow number plate, the whole vehicle has to be under 600 kilo, which is very light. 600cc engine, and there's a few other requirements. It's going to be small. It's only a very small car, A big car will cost you a lot. You get a white number plate and it costs a lot more insurance, tax and all that. The yellow number plate K car is hardly anything per year tax. I think it's like £10 a year tax. It's peanuts. In pounds, that is. You pay for it in the end. And then, so that's your tax. MOT has to be done every 2 years, which is a good thing. Go to any of the garages, good garages, like an MOT, please, and they'll just do a safety check, change the light bulbs, whatever it needs doing. Excuse me. Make new tyre, whatever, new brakes. keep it in top-notch condition. Tax, insurance. Yeah, insurance is also very good value. Shop around. I'll show you. I can help you with that. You can get a good deal on that. That'll be probably about £100 a year, I think. Something like that. And you can get just the cheapest insurance. So you're all legal to drive on the road. Good vehicle like that. You might want a little K truck, or you might want a little K car. And that is good to have that. You'll be doing runs into town. Because the places that are the best for getting a Kia, generally speaking, the higher population area, the less chance of getting a Kia. The lower population the area, the more chance. It's obvious, isn't it? If you go far away from the cities, there's far more options of great Kia. Now, I want the middle ground, because if you go miles away from anywhere, in the middle of nowhere, it's a couple of hour drive to get to the nearest town. Yeah, you're going to find amazing IKEA. I tell you what, you will find beautiful IKEA there. But I personally don't want to live so far away. But I don't want to live in the high population area. I don't want to live in the heart of Tokyo. I want peace and tranquility. But just outside. Now, the place that I have built a community is called Atami. And it's just outside Tokyo. It's 45 minutes on the fast train. There's some amazing trains in Japan. Let's talk about trains for a minute. There's the lightning fast train. Lightning is it's quicker than flying, really, in all around Japan. I think it's at 300 miles an hour, something like that. It's ridiculously fast. And you can get, from Tokyo to Osaka, Tokyo to Kobe. It's so fast, Or you go up to Hokkaido. And then there's the one below, the other Shinkansen that stops in a few more stations. That's the one you want to get that goes from Tokyo to Atami. Because lightning fast train will just go straight back. It only stops at the really big mega cities. Then you get another Shinkansen to the station you want. So Atami Station is one of my favorite train stations in Japan, because there's a free onsen there. Onsen is hot springs. It is free for the public. And I love it. I come out of the station, I just put my feet in the onsen. Oh, it's so nice. I love this place. Good feel to it. There's the best seafood places there. So you might have bought a car, and wherever you are, you want to be able to drive to the nearest train station. Or you could cycle. If you want an e-bike, the electric bikes are brilliant in Japan. Perhaps I'd suggest get an e-bicycle and a car. I like the Nissan Sakura is a good example of an electric car. And it's got solar panels on the roof, and you press a button, the solar panel doubles in size, comes over the screen, blocks the sun from warming up your car too much. And it really does charge your car a lot. Now, if you needed to charge more than that, it's very cheap to go and charge at the charging points or any plug socket. You can often find free plug sockets actually to charge your car. It's a bit cheeky, but that's a good option. Or you can go for a little petrol K car or van. You drive into the station. I've got some life hacks for very cheap train travel. Because Japan is such a conformist nation, it's amazing how you buy the cheapest ticket at the machine there. If you want to go just one stop, it's about 110 yen, 30p or something like that, 40p. 40 pence, or even if it was 50p, is still very cheap. And you go beep, and you got that ticket, you go through the barrier. Now you can come out at that same station you went into. But when you go a long way, you go to another station. It won't get you out there 100. You have to settle up, and you have to go to a machine inside the barrier before you go outside the barrier. Where did you come from? What do you have to? And you're a bit confused, not sure. And if you just put one station before where you want to come out, it'll be another 110 yen, another 30, 40p. And beep, you can get out. And it's a crazy life hack, but it works. And you can do this all over Japan. You can travel all around Japan. You could spend a year just traveling around Japan on trains for almost next to nothing. It's an amazing life hack. I can teach you a lot of life hacks like this in Japan. But wherever you are, you'll want to go into Tokyo. I don't know, every now and again. I go once or twice a week, sometimes 3 or 4 times a week. And it's only 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back. Atami is a really wonderful place. It's got the nice balance between you're not right in the heart of Tokyo, but you're not so far away that you're in the middle of nowhere. 45 minutes is great. I like it. Peace and tranquility. What my wife wanted, we were looking for a place where the things we wanted We thought it'd be too good to be true to find somewhere that's near the coast. It's a seaside town, lots of good seafood there. The restaurants are so good, fresh seafood, sushi. It's nice beaches, beautiful beaches. In the summer, it does get so hot. The sand gets so hot you can't walk on it. But that's only for a short time of the year. Most of the year, it's just nice, Our dream was sitting on the beach, just relaxing on the beach in a beautiful area. So we've got the nice seaside beach, and we wanted mountains because we love mountains. We absolutely love mountains. And it's beautiful mountains just behind the beach. And then we thought, so sometimes you have to choose. Do you like mountains, beautiful, or do you want the beach? You have to choose either one. Well, we can have both in Otami. And then, do you want the city? Well, yeah, I like the city. It's nice, but I don't really want to live there. Well, it's 45 minutes away. That's why Otami is such a good place. You've got a beautiful city very close. Tokyo is one of the biggest mega cities in the world. It's like multiple cities, other cities in the world, all put together. And you're just outside that. And you've got lovely beach atmosphere, holiday, tropical atmosphere in the summer. Even in the winter, it's still, even now, I'm talking now in January 2026. My wife's there. I'm still in London, but my wife's in Japan, in Otami now. And she said it's blue skies, it's quite sunny, it's very mild this time of year. You do get, if you go up high up the mountain, you get snow, but it's very mild, it's nice this time of year. That's why I love Otami. So we've covered mobile phone, we've covered visa, flights, living in Japan. Now, what will you do for income? You'll need income to buy food. You don't have to pay any rent. You don't have to pay any tax. You don't have to pay anything like that. But say, for example, you have a medical emergency. You go to the hospital. Now, there's a couple of options. You could pay a little medical insurance, which is quite cheap, and I'd say it's worth doing. And that means the cheapest option of medical insurance, you just pay that every month, means that if you have anything you need at the hospital, you'll pay 30% of the cost and the insurance will pay 70% of it. There's another option where you pay a higher insurance every month, and then if you need anything at the hospital, you'll pay 10% and the insurance will pay 90% of it. I personally choose to do the 30% version. I pay a very small fee, and I needed emergency medical treatment. They did an excellent job, by the way. I had a crown fitted. It was so good quality job, much better than the British dentist. And I paid 30% of the cost of it. The insurance paid 70%. So I'd say it's worth doing that, but you could choose to risk it if you wanted to and not pay any insurance. And if you needed to go to the hospital, you would have to pay 100% of it. It's not that bad, depending on what you need, of course. If you need a big operation, but you might decide to go somewhere else for the operation or you've got all these options. The option I've chosen is to pay the small amount of insurance, medical insurance, and anything I need to do, the insurance will pay 70% of the cost. I'll pay 30% of it. That's what I've chosen. I'll help you to decide. Go through all the options. If you think you might need to go to hospitals, then pay the more expensive insurance and you'll only have to pay 10% of the cost of everything you need. I think it's a very good system. I think it's excellent because the healthcare is top notch. I tell you what, they got the best, latest technologies, very good doctors, and you can trust. I don't necessarily trust where I am in the UK hospitals, but everything in Japan is trustworthy. This is a very important point to understand. You're dealing with a business, you're dealing with anything like that. You've got a much higher level of trust. They won't rip you off. You feel secure. They do things really properly, over the top properly, which I like. I really like that. Anything you do, you're hiring a car, you're hiring a hotel, you're hiring this. They do things thoroughly and properly. If you're doing anything with healthcare, dental, or anything like that, they really do a thorough, good job properly. Customer is God. The patient is God. They treat you really well. So if you want good healthcare, Japan, I'd say, is one of the best countries in the world to do it. So I'd say, I don't recommend what you do. I'm just telling you what I do. I pay the small amount of insurance every month and I get 70% of my medical bills paid if I need anything, which is fair enough. And I did use it while I was there. That 30% of your medical bills you'll find will be absolutely peanuts. It will be so low. The food is so cheap. Everything is cheap in Japan because the yen is falling. It's all to do with the yen carry trade ending. I'll talk a bit about the history of Japan because My wife's Japanese, and her parents remember the 80s and the 90s were an absolute boom time. Oh my word, everyone was so wealthy. It was anybody could make a lot of money quite easily. And Japanese real estate went really high. All businesses were just making money, exporting, Toyota, Honda cars all over the world. Japan was incredibly wealthy. The yen was very strong. And all these businessmen, population back then was a lot higher by then. They often built second homes in the country, third homes, fourth homes. They were so extravagant, and they did a good job. They built amazing homes. Oh, my word. And this is why the infrastructure is so good in Japan. The 80s, 90s, and then the 2000s were a lost decade. 2010s were a lost decade. 2020s were a lost decade. The lost decade means that growth went up there. Now it's coming down. But the infrastructure is all still there. The yen is falling significantly, and I think it will continue to fall at the rate that it is falling. It's hard for people in Japan. Wages are not going up, but they've got big inflation now. And they're not used to inflation. For years, there's no inflation. Everything was the same price for years, decades. And now they notice the products they used to buy regularly have gone up 10 yen, 20 yen. What? That's a shock. And it's such a shock that the company who producing these things have to apologize, and they all bow, I'm sorry, we got to increase the price of our product by this much. I mean, in Britain, goodness me, the inflation is, everyone's moaning about it, aren't they? Products I used to buy years ago, now what? Look at the price of that now. It's absolutely, it's diabolical, the inflation. But Japan has got inflation now. The yen is falling. This is very, very good news for us. Anybody coming from outside of Japan, especially a strong Western nation, if you've got dollars, pounds, euros, any of these other currencies, they go a long way in Japan. Oh, my word. You can live so well. Your quality of life will be amazing. You want to go and get new clothes. What? It costs this? I can't believe how cheap it is. All brand new clothes, shoes, boots. We go skiing, snowboarding. You buy all the equipment, nice ski jacket. This is very expensive in the UK. You'd be amazed. And there's a shop I like called Book Off. It's second-hand clothes shop. You can buy and sell things there. And by the way, when you go scavenging, if you want, it's very easy to go there with your K-truck, go to the back of Book Off. Can I have a quote for all this? And they'll pay for it. You can buy and sell anything in Book Off. Anything. You can buy and sell anything. There's a huge clothes section. There's bikes, snowboards, skateboards, sports equipment, camping equipment. I get all my camping equipment from Book Off. It's all secondhand. It's been used, but it's all good quality. Anything you think of, and there's like game section. Basically, anything you can think of, you can buy and sell at this place. So you'll be amazed when you want to buy new things, how cheap they are. I think this is because the population of Japan is falling and all these places are becoming abandoned. You can go scavenging, schools, hospitals, all these things. You might find some old abandoned things in a locker somewhere or something like that. If you don't want to keep it, but it's worth something, sell it at Book Off. Or you'll get a better price if you advertise it online, sayonara sale. But I love Book Off. Buying and selling things, we love going there. All the best clothes, everything you need. And you'll be amazed the quality of life you can have. But the main thing is going out. You go into Tokyo and they're really good restaurants. Meet up with friends. We're meeting up at this place tonight. Who wants to come? Put it on WhatsApp or whatever you're using. And, 10, 15 people all come there. And alcohol is so cheap. Oh, my word. This is true to say now, right? Sake, which is what I love, my favorite alcoholic drink. Japanese. It's like, Russians like vodka. The Japanese like sake. It is cheaper than bottled water in the UK. Now, just let that sink in. You can buy sake in cartons, like 2 or 3 litre cartons, or just 1 litre carton. It is lower cost than a bottled water in the UK. That's how cheap alcohol is in Japan, because the yen has fallen so much. But then you got the really nice sakes, a bit more expensive, or the nice beers. Japanese beer is so cheap compared to the UK. I can't believe the pint in the UK. I came back to the UK once and we ordered a pint. No, you must have made a mistake. Yeah, that is. It can't be. For 1 pint, I couldn't believe the price of it. I was just used to ordering loads in Japan. And food, oh my days. you can have such good quality. This is my number one thing. I love good sushi. When you say sushi, it covers so much. There's not just one sushi. It's almost unlimited. Good eel, good salmon, good tuna, fatty tuna. It's so enjoyable with wasabi, soy sauce, and all the ways they do it. The good restaurant, I love good oyster bar. You'd be amazed at the price of it. You'd be absolutely amazed. My favorite place is the 100 yen sushi bar. 100 yen is 30 or 40p, fluctuating a little bit. Now, 30 pence for quality sushi, isn't that mind-boggling? Isn't that unbelievable? And the 100 yen sushi bar, that's just for one plate of sushi, 100 yen. And it's on a conveyor belt, One might not be enough. I enjoy several. In fact, my record is 14, but that was greedy. I must admit that was wrong. I was too bloated, not healthy. But you just go around the conveyor belt, I like to look at that. And you can order specifically something you like. It puts it on the conveyor belt that comes around. You take it off. I like that one. And you're eating it and having such a good time with friends. And then you stack up the plates and then they count the plates you pay for it at the end. So I paid 1,400 yen. It's nothing, it's nothing. It's a couple of pounds. Eating out, you don't need to go shopping and cook at home. You can eat out 100% of the time if you wanted to. It's so incredibly cheap living, and it will only get better. It will only get better for us. So if you're planning this, you want to relocate to Japan for a short time or an intermediate time or a long time. You could retire. I want to live there forever. That's fine. But a lot of people just want a second home, a bug out location, or a grey gap year. I love the people doing grey gap years. What I found is people who do move to another culture are more interesting people in general. That's what I find. Most people just stay in their culture, their language, all their lives. Only holidays abroad, but I think try living in another culture. It's very good for you. It's very good for you. Right, let's talk about language now. Japan is not English speaking. I mean, most people actually speak a little tiny bit of English, but there's two options. Number one, the government provides free Japanese lessons at your local community centre. Depending on how far away that is for you, you might have to get a train there. But I do this. I did it for a long time, 20 years ago when I first started living in Japan. And it's great. It's free and you meet up lots of other people there. It's volunteers. I had this nice Japanese lady was my teacher and she was patient with me. And we have, as long as you want, you could have a couple of lessons every week if you wanted to. I had one a week. I was very busy. It was work. And you slowly, at 6 months, you'll have a basic grasp of it. And I'm not saying I'm fluent at all. I'm not at all, but I can just about get by. But before that, and what I'm going to say next will help you with your Japanese. The new apps now, Apple AirPods 3, the earphones, Bluetooth earphones, right? Working with Apple phone. You can have a proper conversation now using the translation apps. You hold the phone out and you want to ask somebody something. Sumimasen, tsuga ikitai desu, and you can ask them something. No, I'm sorry. If I'm speaking in English, it will come out of your phone speaker for them to hear in Japanese. And when they speak in Japanese, it will come out in your ear as English. Now, you might think this is lazy, but no, this will help you to learn the language. This helps. If you're doing that along with Japanese lessons, that will actually help you and you really immerse yourself in the culture. But I think some people say, I can't learn Japanese. I can't, it's too difficult. Okay, the technology is getting so much better now. We're already at a stage where you could live there and speak to any Japanese person using the translator apps. You can. I'm not going to judge you, that's lazy, you should learn Japanese. I'm not going to say that. You can do it. But actually the culture, the community that we are building in Atami is mostly foreigners anyway. Lots of Americans, New Zealand, Kiwis. We've got Canadians there. We've got Australians. We've got some people from South America, Spain. There's so many people from Europe. Got a French guy. They want to get a free home. So it's nice to be surrounded by people from other foreigners as well. And you'll be often interacting with Japanese people. And if you just speak in English, it will come out on the speaker of your phone in Japanese. And they'll hear, and they'll say, hi. And they'll speak, blah, 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 blah. And then it will come out in your ear in English. And then you can reply. You can almost have a conversation just as good. So it's not quite as good as if you both speak the same language. But that is a good option So don't worry about the language. A lot of people, they always, if I'm moving abroad, I want to move somewhere that speaks the same language as me. That really limits your possibilities. Japan is so amazing place to live. The primary reasons why is the culture. The people are so nice. The food is so good. You can get a free home. I can help you. And it's very, very, very cheap to live there now because the yen is falling so much. And you can live a very high quality of life. Go out every day, partying every day, live, eat out every day, and you'll be very low cost. As long as you've got some kind of an income. You need some savings, you need an income. You need to be a digital nomad. You might need to work 1 or 2 days a week, 1.5 days a week, digital nomad, loads of options. And that will be enough for you to live like a king. It is absolutely amazing. In conclusion, the last few minutes now, I want to talk about people choosing to live abroad. A lot of people are fed up with the UK and other countries. The West is going down the toilet. The East is rising. And a lot of people choose to go and live in the East. There's a lot of countries to choose from. They've all got pros and cons. Now, there's a scale of how far your currency will go. Let's talk about the British pound. The British pound is quite strong in all the countries in Asia. The bottom of the scale, if you want to go and live in a slum somewhere, say Manila, the Philippines, somewhere like that, there's lots of slums in Asia. If you went to live there, your pound would go the furthest. That's the bottom of the scale. You'd have no running water, very bad sanitary, very bad food. You'll get a bad stomach all the time. You'll get ill, you might die. But your pound will buy a lot. Like £1 would be enough for everything you need. £2 would go really far. But it's not a lot of infrastructure. That's the bottom of the scale extreme. Now you come a bit above that, almost slum conditions, almost. You might be able to hire a little place very cheap, like £1 a week or something like that. And you might have running water. You might not. Internet electricity might be on every now and again, but intermittent electricity is often too enough. You don't know when it's coming back on. But there your pound will go a long, long way as well. Come up the scale a little bit from that, where you can hire a reasonably nice place with running water and electricity that can be relied on, but there's cockroaches and it's damp and there's things like that. But it's way better than the two other options I said. Your pound will go less far, but still you'll be able to live like you wouldn't live like a king, but you'd be able to buy a lot of nice food very cheap, things like that. Your goods and services, your pound would go a long way. Let's come up the scale a little bit from that. A reasonably nice apartment, no mold, no cockroaches, running water, electricity's on all the time. It's just a cheap sort of place. Cheap furniture, but it's clean, nice. Your pound won't go so far. You need more, spend more to get the same goods and services, but better quality of life. Let's come up the scale a fair bit now. There's many stages in between that. Come up the scale a lot. You get quite a nice place. Obviously running water, nice hot water bathroom, clean, tidy, nice quality kitchen, nice mod cons, really nice apartment. Reliable, it's nice lift and it's clean, and maybe there might be concierge, security on the front desk. Your pound won't go so far there. I'm talking all these different countries in Southeast Asia, or all in Asia. Now, generally speaking, the third world countries, the developing countries, your pound goes further. The developed countries, your pound doesn't go so far, but you've got much higher quality of life. Well, I'm saying Japan has got the best of both worlds. Japan is a fully developed nation, perhaps one of the best in the world, with low crime, very high quality of life, trustworthy, anything you do. And you've got the fact that your currency goes very, very far. You've got the advantages of those, where I said almost slum conditions, where you can buy so much for a couple of pounds. It's amazing to go out into Japan and go shopping, have really amazing food and drink, and to come back with all these supplies. When I go shopping in the UK, £100 doesn't get you much nowadays. It's crazy, £100 and you haven't got that much. You have to go and spend another £100 a little while later. In Japan, £100 would buy you months of supplies. You don't need to spend that much. £10 or £20 will buy you weeks of supplies. Good quality, very enjoyable. It's so enjoyable living there. If you're interested in what I'm talking about, you've got more questions, first step is do a consultation with me. Email's in the description. We'll perhaps do a couple of consultations. You might decide to go to Japan on your own, or if you want to pay for it, we could show you doing a Kia tour around Atami.